Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from Racing News Now. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. On today's edition of the ARCA Rewind Show, we're looking back at the 2018 running of the ModSpace 150 from the Pocono Raceway, second Pocono race of the season for the ARCA Racing Series. And it may be the ModSpace 150, but we did not get 150 laps in this race, as rain would play a factor here. We actually just barely got past halfway before the rain hit. It was scheduled to be a 60-lap race. Officially, we got 33 laps in before the rain hit, but that didn't keep us from seeing some exciting racing. Yes, a lot of the race was run under caution, as there were a few incidents in those 33 laps, which we will get to as we go down the running order, but we did see an incredible battle for the win about 4 laps before the rains hit. Everybody knew the rain was coming. Everybody knew we were racing for basically lap 31 to halfway, and the MDM teammates that ended up at the front of the field at the end of the race were definitely putting on a show. So let's go ahead and get into the results here. Zane Smith is your winner, win number 4 on the season for Mr. Smith in that 41 car. Had a fantastic battle with his teammate Sheldon Creed. Like I said, they're about lap 29 in turn number 1. It was an incredible battle, those two beating and banging. Zane said it post-race on the Fox broadcast, and he said it as well in our interview here coming up here once we get done with the results. That's some great racing, and I agree 100% with him. That was some fantastic racing. That's the kind of racing I love to see. I love it when you've got these guys doing everything they can for a win, putting it all on the line, doing whatever they can. That's racing. That is good racing, and that is what I love to see. If you disagree, that's fine, but I'm just telling you my opinion. That was some fantastic racing. It actually turned out to be an MDM Motorsports 1, 2, 3, 4 on the day. A fantastic outing for the MDM team with Chase Purdy in 3rd and Harrison Burton, winner of the June Pocono race, in 4th. Riley Herbst, winner of last season's June Pocono race, rounded out the top 5. 2 5th-place finishes for Riley at Pocono this season. Todd Gilliland started on the outside pole, wound up in the 6th position on the day. Cody Robaugh came home with a solid 7th-place finish, finished where he started on the day. Will Rogers was in the 52 car this week for Ken Schrader Racing, came home in the 8th position. Travis Braden 9th. Brett Holmes made his return in the 23 car this week and picked up a top 10 finish in the 10th position. 11th through 20th, we see LB Skaggs here in the 11th position, making his second career start in the ARCA Racing Series. Made his first start back in June at the other Pocono race and put together a very respectable run on the day. I saw him as high as 7th at one point, so LB Skaggs putting together some really good speed on the day in that 71 car. LB is from North Fort Myers, Florida, very well known on the local short track circuit down there. Sean Corr made his return to the series, finished in the 12th position. Not a great day for Christian Eckes, came home in the 13th position. Natalie Decker qualified in the top 10 on the day, and I think had some speed in the car. Didn't really get a chance to show it, though, as she ended up having a broken axle. Which maybe someone can explain this to me, but I'm not even 100% sure how she was able to finish the race with a broken axle. Because to me, I feel like if you got a broken axle, the car is just not going to drive at all. There's no way you can keep it in a straight line. So if that's the case, kudos to Natalie for not only finishing the race, but finishing on the lead lap. 15th on the day for Natalie, last car on the lead lap. Leilani Munter, the other female in the field, and the 3rd car for Venturini Motorsports, came home 1 lap down in the 20th position. Last page here, 21st through 29th, fairly large field yesterday, which was nice to see. Joe Graff Jr. came home in the 26th position after spinning in the tunnel turn on lap 13, and ending his day fairly early. Gus Dean out just before that on lap 11. Gus had all kinds of problems on the day. He ended up 27th after starting on the pole, dropped back to 4th, and then ends up spinning off of the tunnel turn, comes down, gets everything squared away, new tires, comes off pit road, ends up blowing his right front, causes even more damage to the car, and that would be the end of the day for Gus Dean, unfortunately. Only made it 11 laps after we thought he had shaken all that bad luck that he had after winning a couple weeks ago at Elko. Unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case. Gus still apparently seems to have the bad luck monkey on his back. He only had a 1-week reprieve from that in Elko. Maybe next, I was going to say next week, but we're about 3 weeks from the next race in Springfield. Maybe that's when Gus can finally turn things around consistently. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so that is your results for the ModSpace 150. Now let's check out the exclusive interview that we got with Zane Smith a little bit ago and see what he thought about today's win. And we're now joined by the ModSpace 150 winner from the Pocono Raceway, Zane Smith, driver of the number 41 Toyota for MDM Motorsports. Zane, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Had an interesting race out there today, although a little bit short. Only made it barely past halfway there, but you did have some excitement there. Talk us through your day.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty badass is all I can say. But we started our day really strong. We unloaded really good. Had about 2 to 3 tenths on the field in the first practice. So we won practice, and then like on my tweet I put out, I can't get a pole to save my life. So I ended up third in qualifying, and then in the race it was behind the 54, and then the restart I lined up next to him. I was able to get by him, and then once I was in clean air is king, and I was able to pit bail and just kind of run my own deal. And then I was really close to running out of fuel, actually, at the very end there. But luckily it all held off, and with that final caution, I knew that Sheldon knew, and myself knew, and pretty much everyone, that we were racing to lap 31 instead of 60. So Sheldon put an awesome fight. I mean, a lot of drivers whine about that kind of stuff, but in my opinion, that's badass racing. It's really cool to do that with Sheldon as well, just because we grew up together doing that. And so to do it on this stage of racing now is pretty awesome.
No, I agree. That was some fantastic racing there at the end. And tell us a little bit about that battle with Sheldon there about 4 laps before the rain hit. Were you a little worried there at any point that he was going to get you?
Oh, absolutely. For the last 11 laps, I was worried, just because you never know what's going to happen. And I've been waiting on this 4th win for so long. But the biggest thing I was worried about was me watching my fuel pressure gauge just drop and then come back up. And that's how he was able to run me down from so far back. He must have just able to save more fuel than me, because halfway down the straightaway is like me pulling a parachute, and it just bogged down, and then it would light back up. So Pocono is known for really, really long straightaways, so that is not what you need there. So yeah, I feel like that's how he was able to wind us back in. And then our handling of our car was pretty good. He got us off of 3, I'm pretty sure, or tried to, when I had to get by a lapper, and then it was already wet down there. So I was kind of up in the marbles, and then he got underneath me, and I just pulled him right back, and then we were on the very bottom of the straightaway again in the 1, and then we just washed up the track, downshift to the 3rd, and just saved it as much as we could.
All right, so now let's look forward now. We've got, a 3-week break here until Springfield, first time on dirt this season, so tell us what you're expecting from that.
Yeah, Sheldon's probably going to have the upper hand on that whole program, but never know. This whole deal, it's crazy how these things play out. So I'm just going to go into that weekend, giving 110%, learn as much as I can for the next dirt race, and hopefully get number 5.
Well, there you go. All right. That was Zane Smith, winner of today's race in Pocono. Zane, thanks for joining us tonight, and congratulations on win number 4 this season.
All right, thanks, man.
And we want to thank Zane one more time for coming on tonight. It's always fun talking to Zane. Definitely a bit of a character, and we love having him on and chatting with him. I'm sure that won't be the last time we talk to him before this season has concluded. All right, let's take a look at your point standings following the ModSpace 150 before wrapping up tonight. Zane obviously has closed that gap to Sheldon just a bit, but not by much, given that Sheldon finished second. It's now a 160-point gap between Sheldon Creed and Zane Smith. Everybody else obviously losing ground to these two since they finished first and second, so everybody's going to lose at least a little bit of ground there. Chase Purdy, though, has closed his gap on Riley Herbst, now only 75 points behind Riley. In that battle for third place. It's another 55 points back to Travis Braden. Then we got a bit of a gap now. Natalie Decker has moved back up to the 6th position with Gus Dean's woes in Pocono. Natalie sits 145 points behind Travis Braden, and she's only got a 10-point gap right now on Gus Dean. They seem to be in their own little battle at the moment, though, as Joe Graff Jr. is still 230 points back from Gus Dean. And then Brett Holmes back here over 1,000 points back still after missing those couple of races and all the woes that he has had the past few weeks. So he's kind of solidified himself there in the 9th position. So that's your point standings following the ModSpace 150, and I believe that will do it for us tonight. Be sure to catch us tomorrow for a couple of rewind shows tomorrow. Trucks from Pocono and the Xfinity Series from Iowa. That will be tomorrow, as well as a Cup Rewind on Sunday for Pocono, and then Pole Position as usual on Monday to recap everything from Pocono, Xfinity from Iowa, F1 from Hungary, and IndyCar from Mid-Ohio. So we got lots going on this weekend, and you will want to check all of it out. If you haven't already, and you want to make sure you don't miss any of that, you need to go down below and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss anything and you know exactly when all of that comes out going forward. And if you haven't done it already, hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So at that, this has been the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.